And we also have to agree that whatever you think your targeted pipeline is, you might as well multiply that by 10.
Welcome to the CEO Bros Podcast, After Hours, with Brian Baldoff, co-founded, grew, and sold VHT Studios. Brad Baldoff, CEO and co-founder of By Your Side Autism Therapy Services. Matt Crope, the consummate entertainer, jack of all trades, and serves as our host.
Are you participating? Are you doing Masterpiece Theater?
Wait, welcome to Masterpiece. Today we're going to be talking.
Yes.
No, I'm reading a new AI magazine to get caught up.
Here we thought this was staged, but no, you're
Again, Matt trying to replace
We
us.
start our program and we were waiting, and I guess that's the green light. So welcome, everyone.
3, 2, 1, cheers.
Cheers, bright cheers.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
I always say this, but I think this episode is going to be great because I'm also a little hungry. We are going to be talking about funnel cakes, whether it's
Man,
at the State Fair,
not funnel cakes. Sells funnel, sells pipeline.
Sorry about that,
I heard
Matt.
funnel. I heard funnel.
I like funnel cakes. But
Oh well, sales.
not tonight. Maybe tomorrow.
Well, and with that, thank you for
With
tuning
that
in.
rousing
We
intro.
don't even know where we're going with this.
We're
one.
talking sales
pipeline,
funnel.
sales pipeline,
Pipelines.
sales funnel.
Pipelines, building and managing your
I think we can
pipeline.
agree because there's a lot of people out there that are like, hey, how do I get my first customer and how do I build a successful
Ongoing.
pipeline or
Sales.
funnel? Can we agree on one thing though?
No,
we'll talk
never.
we'll talk on the front end of this, which is in order to have a successful sale, you have to have a large pipeline and you have to be able to close. I mean, those are the two elements to sales.
I was going to say, we talked about part 2 of this, or the companion piece is closing.
Right. And we'll get
Because
to
we've
that.
talked about sales at a high level, and then we said, okay, let's go through all the, there's building your funnel, prospecting, building your funnel, managing your funnel, and then obviously closing on the back end. So tonight it's the front end of the sales process.
No, and it's funny. I bring that up because a lot of people say like, "Hey, I'm struggling with sales. What do I do on this end?" And I go, it boils down to two things: you either haven't built your pipeline or you don't know how to close.
Right.
So I think let's talk about the pipeline. Brian calls it funnel. You call it funnel cakes.
I call it funnel cakes.
Wait, I like that.
What's that
Let's
funny?
call it funnel cakes.
What's that funny line you had before we started about the phones?
Oh, I sold the last phone to the only guy in town yesterday. It's like that's
not a good
that's not a
good
it's not a
funnel.
good situation to be in.
Well, our chief financial officer used to always ask, he's like, so you're telling me everybody has one? Kind of the same thing as Brad. Whenever the sales would be like, market, and he's like, or your competition, he's like, so everybody in the world already has one. And we're like, well, no, but he's like, well, then go. Get out of the office.
I think where we start with funnel is our pipeline. What do we want to call it?
If you call pipeline, I'll call it funnel.
Yeah,
People
no, funnel
don't.
makes it up.
Our audience is
I
smart
call
enough
it
to know
sales
what we're
pipeline.
talking about.
Yeah. I mean, let's start with you have to know what your universe is. I mean, no matter what business or service or product you're selling, who are you selling to? I mean, you have to know who you're selling to because a lot of people just like shotgun everywhere. It's like, and I hold the line that if you're selling to everybody, then you're selling to nobody. So who is your product or who is your customer, I should say, because that's how you're going to develop your pipeline, and because we're literally talking about any type of product or service. I mean, you could be selling a cell phone, you could be selling to a customer at a restaurant, you could be selling apparel to somewhere. I mean, but the point is you have to first set your sights on who is the universe of customer you're selling to.
Right.
And what I love about this podcast is so many things you hear, it almost sounds like, well, yeah, of course. But it's not, of course. I bet
not.
you so many people get tempted of, I can sell everything to everybody. And to your point, you end up selling to nobody because you have no clear vision.
That's right.
I'm working with a company right now that's new to the market, trying to figure out their go-to-market strategy. And it's like, okay, it's sales and it's marketing. And it's exactly what Brad said. Who's our target customer? And then what is our prospecting strategy? How do we get in front of those people? Because it all builds. Like, how do we get in front of those people? And then we'll talk about And what do I put in front of those people? You know, once I know who they are and how I can reach them, what do I put in front of them to start people through the funnel or through the pipeline?
And we also have to agree that whatever you think your targeted pipeline is, you might as well multiply that by 10.
Yeah.
Because what I have seen in typical green salespeople or business development is that they get hooked into the 15 or 20 contacts or 30 contacts, whatever, set your number on, whatever it is, 30 contacts, 40 contacts, and they believe then that that's their pipeline and that they just keep recycling through those same 20 or 30 or 40 people, and they feel like, okay, I'm going through my contacts, when in essence what you really need to do is build a pipeline that's 10
Expand
times.
your contacts list. So, I mean, I don't want to jump right into tactics, but I was always a firm believer, like, if you're in sales or you're running your own business, you got to dedicate time each and every week. Like I would on Monday prepare my prospecting for Tuesday morning. So I would be building my list. Okay, who haven't I contacted yet? How do I get their phone numbers, emails, whatever? So the Tuesday morning, 8 a.m., I can start dialing for dollars, sending out emails, knocking on doors, whatever. Because to your point, if you don't have that process locked in, you're going to get stuck just calling the same people over and over again, the same list that you've always had. And hey, I'm checking back in with you.
So preparation. I mean, you can't do prospecting to build a pipeline. You can't do it on the fly. So if you're someone that's starting a new business, if you are, to Brian's point, dedicating if there's not a dedicated period of time every day,
whether you're the owner of a restaurant or you're the sales rep for a cell phone company, or any business that you're responsible for driving business, whether you're the owner, the marketing person, the salesperson,
you have to have a dedicated period of time where you're doing it, where your head is, where you're not multi-purpose or multitasking like we've talked on prior sessions, where it is one-dimensional. You are talking about going outbound, and whether that's doing direct outreach, going to someone's place of office, whether it's phone calling, whether it's emailing, whether it's texting, whatever vehicles you're using to build your pipeline. And there are multiple ways, we can even go into that, of getting to people, because you have to be creative, you have to be innovative in getting to those people. But let's also settle on the fact that you've got to be disciplined enough to do it at a certain time or a certain day or a certain week. You've got to be committed. There's got to be discipline in doing it over and over again.
I want to take away from this is good the process. Do you have, it's not a rule of thumb, what's the instinct for you on going back to someone over and over again? Is there, how often do you keep going to the same people and go,
Well, I mean, there's two different, I always think in terms of two different funnels. There's marketing qualified leads and sales qualified leads. Marketing is a marketing automation platform where you put it in, you say, okay, hit this person with a newsletter every Tuesday and hit them with a tip of the week every Thursday, or hit them with an offer once a month. Most of those programs are automated, and it's really just setting it up and thinking through the decision tree. From a sales rep's perspective, once it becomes sales qualified, it's a little more, you got to read the room. Like, okay, where is this person at in this decision making process, or their interest level in my product? Because if they've expressed buying signs, I don't think you can hit them too much. Okay. Like, you don't want to let that fish off the hook.
God, I was just thinking about it as we start talking about developing a pipeline. I mean, just think we can go into like 7 different, 8, 10, 20, 30 different areas with this, because defining your buyer, who is your buyer? Are you getting to the right person that actually can make the buying decisions? Or are you getting somebody that's going to be someone that's going to advocate for you to the actual buyer, right? But the reality is, we're talking about committed, dedicated time. We're talking about having an expanded, broader range of prospects than what you think. Whatever you think your number is, multiply that by 10 in order to get the results. When I say 10, I'm using it off the top of the head, but I'm just basically saying the number you have is probably lower than what it needs to be.
Well, and you need to work on it regularly. I think you've said this already, but always add to it, whether it's every week, every month, every quarter.
Don't
let
static.
it sit static, right?
Yeah, it's a fluid number that continues to grow. To go back to your original point, I mean, at a certain point, you got to realize that if you're calling somebody multiple times and they're not responding, or you're just not getting the buying signals, you're probably now doing a detriment to that relationship, because you're probably pushed that contact, or whether it's a relationship, it's a contact, it's a prospect, whatever it is that yes, you should follow up, but you should be strategic in your follow up. It's not, I'm going to pepper the person because my boss told me to call them, 5 times. So I'm going to make those 5 calls within 2 weeks. It doesn't work that way.
I've had people call and say that or leave that message. Yes, my boss wanted me to give you a call this week. He thought you'd be a good candidate for our new service. Be like, seriously, that's the best line you have? My boss told me to call you? Like,
yeah.
And yet you remember that call.
well, because I got a lot of them. Yeah.
So I think knowing your
I bought it.
universe,
I did
knowing the universe of your clients, right, or potential customers, and then having targeted, I guess, whether it's a marketing campaign or a sales specific campaign. I mean, where Brian's talking about the marketing and automating approaches to customers. I mean, I think we all agree that those are probably less successful because they're less personal. You're trying to connect with your client.
Trying to get them to react to something.
Right.
Like they're a prospect. You want them to give you their, obviously give their email address or something so you can communicate with them. But then you're hitting them until they give you a buying signal so you can turn it over to your salesperson and say, all right, you can just stop by the office or call this person or whatever. And I'm a huge proponent of, for this prospecting phase, have a brochure. I know everybody says, that's old school. Nobody uses brochures, blah, blah, blah. But I'm a huge advocate of it because just the exercise of creating a 1-page document that conveys your value proposition is worth it.
Yeah.
Whether you ever give it to somebody or not, at least you've gone through it and you're like, okay, this is it. This 1 page tells them why they need us, why we're different, what our value proposition is, something like that. Because you talked about getting to the right buyer. I always assume the first person I talk to is not the buyer. Even if they say they're the buyer and they say they're a decision maker, I want to give them something that they can actually give to the real decision maker.
So say that again, because that's important. The first person
you talk to, no matter what you think, is probably not the end decision maker.
Could be, but more than likely.
It could be, right. Don't risk it. Give them the brochure or whatever it is so that when they actually go talk to the decision maker, they're conveying what you want them to convey. They're not giving their own interpretation of what you said or giving their own version of your value prop. It's right there. Because 9 times out of 10, they are telling someone else in the company. It may even be just, hey, I just met with this sales guy from such and such company. You should meet with them. Here's what they do. Here's why they're different.
Well, I think the process of putting something together too helps you refine your pitch. I mean, it helps you refine your pitch instead of, again, if you don't have a disciplined time of doing it and you don't have a discipline in putting the actual, you don't want to be scripted, but at the same time, you want to have, what are your driving points? You're not going to have a ton of time with that person on the phone in front of them. Whether it's online, you've only got their attention for seconds, right? Maybe a minute. I mean, you're not going to get a lot of attention from it. So you got to get something that's refined enough that's not mechanical or robotic, but it's structured enough that it is, to Brian's point, going to drive home the key points that whether that person makes a decision or bring it to somebody else, that they can repeat it and they've actually garnered the key points from it as well.
We at By Your Side, we had a welcome folder, and I think at some meeting we said, you know what? Everything's online. Let's be more efficient. Let's get rid of the welcome folder. And now we're back to saying, you know what parents want? They want that tangible folder.
I wanted the welcome folder back.
Right.
I actually love the welcome
Let's get that folder back because we said, everything's digital. But parents want that tangible brochure folder in their hand, even in a digital world, of what your message is and what you do.
Well, and Brad brought up a great point, too. I mean, we can go a million directions here, but that you do only have 30 or 60 seconds. And hopefully one thing registers with them. And I think the mistake a lot of new people make when they're first selling is, I got to tell them what my product is. I got to tell them the features in 30 seconds so they know what it is. When in reality, what you should be doing is asking a question.
Crafting a question that makes them think about, I didn't think I had that problem. Or, I do have that problem.
I do have that problem.
all right, now I've identified a pain point for them, or something that might be keeping them up, or something that's on their mind, and I probably have the potential solution for it.
So have you guys ever seen that episode of Taxi where Ignatowski gets a sales job?
No,
Oh my God. So he knocks on somebody's door, walks in their living room, and he says to the lady, he spills ketchup on her carpet.
Oops, a little dirt. Can your vacuum cleaner clean that up?
Yes.
Of course it can. But can it clean up this?
Oh, well, I don't know.
And how about this?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
And this?
No.
Oh, you see, this and that. And how about this?
Ketchup. Does this machine clean up ketchup?
Oh, we wouldn't call it the magic carpet wizard if it didn't perform miracles.
I think I get the point. I get the point. Now, let me see. The machine cleaned it up.
First, let's make it tough. Oh, here, a little bit of that.
Oh, no, wait, that's grease. That's grease.
Hey, no problem for the wizard. Okay, there.
Oh,
Right. Now, that's enough. We are gonna see this cleaned up fast and easy. When I plug this in.
Hey, and I gotta go.
Oh, I don't have that anymore. I lost that vacuum cleaner job.
Sorry about the stains on your carpet. Good night, ma'am.
So this is such a interesting topic. It can go 1,000 different ways.
Yeah.
So let's boil it down. What's the essence of the sales funnel that we want to kind of highlight in this episode?
Well, I mean, first of all, I want to touch on maybe something different than Brian, which I want to touch just on the idea that if you're out in the marketplace and you're trying to sell a good or service and you're new, you have to create awareness around what you even provide.
Job number one, yeah.
I mean, so you can't put a pipeline or a funnel together of all these different prospects if they don't even know or have an awareness around what you're offering. And so I would just offer out to people that are out there to just get your name out there. Do some pro bono work. If it's a service, do it for free. Offer something up for free, or do a giveaway, and include that as part of your budget and getting things off the ground. Like, hey, you're selling X, and so maybe you give away, a certain amount of these items so people can try them out and start talking about them in exchange for, hey, do you mind writing something about it, or review, a testimonial, whatever, just so I've got some traction to people starting to see it, hear about it, read about it. You've got to create awareness. So if you're sitting there and just thinking you're going to open up a website and you've got some product out there, the chances of you selling is not very good because people don't know you exist. So you have to do something proactively to create awareness, and that in more cases than that is probably a giveaway. It's either free service, pro bono work done, or it's a product you're giving away at if no charge or dramatically discounted. But you got to get it out there and you got to get people talking about it. That's one of the things that I would recommend.
So you need to plan. If you're starting a business, that should be planned. Hey,
That should be in part
we
of the
want
budget.
revenue, but we know we have to give away this much before we start getting that revenue.
Yeah. I mean, it's like if you guys ever see when a new restaurant opens, right? They actually have.
That's what I was thinking.
They bring all these new diners in for free. Just trial out the food.
It's a preview night.
Give it a
It's
shot.
this night.
Order anything off the menu. Give it a shot. Guess what? They know it's a loss. They're losing everything because they're just trying to get people to know and aware of their restaurant. It's the same thing with any other business.
I'm always flabbergasted with how bad most new restaurants are at creating awareness. Like, put a big sign out in front, a big balloon, one of those wavy, balloon things.
Attract customers to your business. Make a splash at your next presentation. Keep grandma company. Protect your crops. Confuse your neighbors.
Do some social media. Do some put flyers on cars, send, and if you're in a regular sales business, I mean, I mentioned every Monday I would send out 100 letters via the mail, just make sure it was going to get on their desk. Know your audience. So if your audience is on TikTok, put some videos on TikTok every day. But there's a lot of low cost ways to get the message out there. We did talk about, you got to really think through what your message is and what your promotion is to get people interested in talking about it. But think about your audience, think about where they're at, what they're doing, and go there and do it and get it in front of them. And in the beginning, before you have clients, that's where all your effort should go. Like I said, I've seen people who, like Hinkley Schmidt Water Company, their guys used to deliver the water in the morning and then they would go knock on doors in the afternoon. Restaurant owners who walk around to the local high schools and put brochures in car windows or on car doors or things like that. Like, that's what you got to do. And you don't think people are just going to show up because you did a grand opening. And then
or find your website or find your product online. You have to do something. And in many cases, I'm agreeing with everything Brian's saying. But it also has to be creative. It has to be unconventional. You have to do something that's going to stir up attention around your product to create the prospects coming forward.
Yeah, do things with the local high school. Do a promo like, hey, we're going to come and bring 50 sandwiches for the homecoming game. Or like, if you look at the companies that are good at it, think of like Raising Cane's, the chicken finger place.
This is the moment that a lot of West Michigan foodies have been waiting for a long time. Now, we were out here this morning when hundreds of people gathered to be one of the first to order at the newest Raising Cane's location here in Kentwood in 28th Street. And yes, this is the first location here in West Michigan. Cane's is a nationwide chain serving chicken fingers, Texas toast, fries, and coleslaw.
Anytime they do a grand opening, it's like a massive event in that town. The first 200 people in line get free sandwiches for a year, and it's in the newspapers, and they really make it. You can't miss it if a Cane's is coming to your town. And I know there's other restaurants that do well too, but
you want a sponsorship from Raising Cane's is what you're saying. That's why I like that.
Hey, Raising Cane's.
But so brand awareness. So that would be the takeaway. Is that your takeaway as well? Or
you got to start there and be creative and hustle and get people to help you, get kids to help, get advocates to help. Like Brad said, you give a few things away for free. They can do testimonials online on Google and Yelp, and they can give them other stuff. We were always a big proponent of advocates. There's a book called Raving Fans, but we wanted our clients to become evangelists for our product. You do our selling for us. And so, like, for instance, there was an IT guy at a brokerage that had about 2,000 agents, and he loved our product and service. So we just loaded him up because all he did all week was go from office to office and work on technology issues and do training and stuff. And he would always end his presentations or his meetings with, oh, by the way, here's a free video home tour. He looked great. The agent appreciated it. We got in front of that agent at no cost whatsoever. He did it all for us.
So it sounds like the sales funnel, including the closing, this is probably going to be a series with us because right now
before we ever get to close.
Right, because right now we're talking marketing and brand awareness. But Brad, you're saying before you even start your sales funnel, you need to let everyone. So this is step one of your sales funnel.
Well, to create the funnel, create the prospect list of your potential
to get
clients.
people into the funnel,
to get them into the funnel. Yeah, they've got to know who you are. So you've got to create awareness around it, and it's not just it's tied to a marketing campaign, but at the same time, marketing campaigns. But the reality is, how can you let the general public, or in this case, when we're talking about the detailed client base that you're going after, how do you let them know? And what do you do? And a lot of times it's let them trial your service, let them have your product, let them see it. In exchange for, can you write something about my product online? Can you do something? If you like it, if you enjoy it, you'd be surprised how far that goes. People will help you out if you're being genuine and asking them to do something.
They can open doors for you to different organizations, events, opportunities. If you ask, that's the first rule in sales. You got to ask.
So a crucial step to the sales funnel. Keep an eye out for future episodes. We'll probably title them Sales Funnel Continued or Part 2, whatever that may be, because we got a lot more to talk about. And how we're going to start our sales funnel is letting you hit that subscribe button so you can find out more about us. So hit that subscribe button. We got some comments we'll read at different episodes, some good tips, some good feedback. So until next time.
Now Matt's going to make funnel cakes.
Not funnel cakes.
Here's the funnel cake.
State Fair funnel cakes are the best, by the way.
Oh,
Ranking funnel cakes, State Fair.